Michael Pearcy. I'm from Austin. My orc army really kind of started because I wanted to use a lot of water effects. I wanted to pour a lot of resin and make something really kind of unique and different. It ended up being orcs because I actually won a box of orcs in a raffle. And they were mantic orcs. I've been wanting to make a mantic army, so it all kind of just came together into these coastal raider orcs. The water effects were a lot of work. I pretty much just used painter's tape to make boundaries around all of the bases and then poured a two-part resin with a little bit of paint to get the color. The painter's tape leaked everywhere. It was definitely not sturdy enough. Some of my edges are a little rounded. I probably would take time to use a more sturdy box to bound in all the resin. If you're going to pour lots of resin, do it somewhere where you can afford to have resin stuck for a long time. It ended up with a glassy finish on top that I added clear drying bathroom caulk to create the wave effects. I think my favorite parts of Kings of War are probably the flexibility that it gives you with your modeling and your list choices. The game is really balanced, so you can really play anything that you really enjoy. I kind of take it upon myself to push the boundaries of some of the meta or the conventional armies and conventional lists. And I like to really surprise people with taking things that they might think are underpowered or don't really have a spot. My favorite unit in the army has to be my Horde of Chariots. I converted a longboat that I found at Hobby Lobby and added a few orcs inside the boat with some pieces from the orc chariot to give it a little more of that orcish kind of feel. The sea life in the base, I used some toys that I actually found at a local toy store and just kind of cut and modify them to look like they were attacking the boat or fleeing from the battle. I think it's all toys, really. As long as there's effort there, as long as the final product shows some effort and some passion into the hobby, I think anything that gets you to that point is okay. The end goal for the army was always for it to be a competitive army. So I think that influenced the list choices a lot. There are some really good tricks that the orcs have with regards to their casting, so that was always going to be an important piece of it, to have lots of hordes of orcs to buff up the casting. Every time I add a unit to the army, I think that it's going to be the last unit I ever add to it, just because of the amount of work that the bases have made for me. Again, I'm really happy with how they all come out, but it's definitely a lot more difficult than in other armies to expand it. I think I'm pretty happy with where it is now, so I don't have any plans to grow it in the immediate future. Next, I'm actually working on a Ratkin army. I took it to the most recent tournament here, Capital City Clash, and I did fairly well with it. I'm really happy with it, and I've always liked rats even since back in the Warhammer days.